Y'all know what it is. This is Sean Wade, Church Music and Tech, episode 1. Let's get it. So I told y'all for episode 1, I was going to take you guys into my setup, show you guys exactly what I use, why I use it, and show you how I use it, which is key. So let's get right into it. For my main board, I use Yamaha ES8, Yamaha Motif ES8. Reason why I use that board, it's the church's board. It's there. I mean, why not use it? You should use what's provided, right? But I use it a little differently though. I don't use any of the piano sounds in the Yamaha ES8, and if I do, it's a secondary piano, meaning that I have a piano that is more dominant than the piano sound that I'm playing. Like if I'm playing an acoustic piano, I have an electric piano on top of the acoustic piano, and it creates a sort of a different sound. We'll get into that maybe another video. What I primarily use the ES8 for, I use it for pads. I use it for some of those moving pads that kind of create a better, bigger picture, kind of moody pads. I use it for brass. That's about it. That's generally it. I use it for my stack sounds, the sounds that I put on top of my main sounds. Now you might be asking, what do you use for your main board? Well, every week, and yes, every week, absolutely every week, don't leave home without it, I bring my own personal Nord Electro 5D. So I love this board. Before I bought this board, I actually used my buddy Malachi's board. He has a Nord Electro 4D. On the 4D, I don't know if you guys are familiar, you only see numbers. So you have to think, okay, 9 in the piano section and 9 right here is whatever piano I want. I didn't want to do all of that. So I like the 4D, you know, but I didn't like it enough to get it. 5D came out. 5D came out with those features, among some other features, you know. So I got the 5D. So I use the Nord Electro 5D on top of the ES. That's where my main piano sounds come from. Now, before I bought that board, and this is important to know, before I bought that board, I researched that board and researched the sound that I used out of the Nord Electro 5D is the MKS-20's acoustic piano 1. It's a signature gospel sound that you've probably heard on a few records. It's significant for me, and it's a good piano for me because it cuts through pretty much everything without being overbearing. I like the Yamaha Motif ES 4 grand piano. I love it, but sometimes it can be a little bit too weighty, too mid-heavy, too bottom-heavy, and it doesn't allow for you to do a whole lot or stack a whole lot on top of it before that mix gets muddy. So, I mean, you can do it, but you have to do a lot of pre-programming, which I mean I could do, but I just like the MKS-20 acoustic piano 1 sound a lot better, because a lot of people may say it's thin, but it cuts through what I needed to cut through, and it sits right in the mix where I needed to sit. So we have a 3-piece band at church. It's me on keys, we have drums, and we have bass. So in order to recreate the sound, or recreate a sound that is similar to what was created on the original record, I have to play multiple instruments in one. If you see me play on any videos, you'll rarely see me touch that Nord Electro 5D. Well, you might be saying, how do you play it? I'm playing it the whole time, I promise. The whole entire time. I promise you I'm playing that board. I promise you I'm playing it the entire time. The way that I do it is a function that every digital or electronic keyboard player should know about. It's called MIDI. It stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Essentially what it is, it's how, I'll say keyboard and instruments for this example, keyboard and instruments communicate with each other. So I can take keyboard A, I can take a MIDI cable, plug it out of keyboard A into keyboard B, and play keyboard A. The sounds from keyboard B will also play depending on how I have keyboard A set up. I'm playing the ES8 the whole time, but since I have that MIDI cable going from the out of the ES8 into the in of the Nord Electro 5D, it's playing both of them based on how I set up the Nord and how I set up the ES8. I'll get into that. I promise you I'll get into that. I have an episode coming up on MIDI. I'll kind of do a 5-10 minute deep dive so that you guys understand how to utilize it. Just, you know, quick setup or whatnot. But I utilize the organ. I also utilize an expression pedal. Now, expression pedal is essentially a volume pedal. The way that I have it set up is the piano sound stays constant. So I'm playing the piano the entire time. The expression pedal is assigned to the organ, so that when I turn it up, it only turns the organ up. When I turn it down, it only turns the organ down. And the 5D has drawbars, and it also has a Leslie switch. It has vibrato. It has all of the organ function. And while it may not sound exactly like an organ, the elements of organ are infused into that stack, which make that stack richer. And that's why it's key to have that piano that's not dominating the whole space. Because when you have a stack and you have multiple instruments in there, you want them to take up a certain amount of that frequency space, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you want it to sound good, essentially. So you want to make sure that you set your stacks up good. So imagine this. I'm playing a song, church music and tech, we'll go churchy. Playing a churchy song, I did it last week, I did it the other week. And I have piano, I have organ, and I have brass. Now the thing about my brass stacks, I never just stack one brass stack. I always have a brass that's kind of like a soft brass. Then I have a brass that's kind of like a more aggressive brass, but not too aggressive. And then I have the final brass that has a little bit more top end to stick out. The reason why I have the 3 and not just one is because it fills up the sound in different ways. And when you're playing a song that has different parts, you don't want to play it the same way. That's why organs have drawbars, especially in church situations, because you want to make sure that you play the mood of the song during that section of the song. So if you're at the verse, you're not all out. It's almost like a singer getting on the mic and giving us all their runs at the beginning of the song or just singing super aggressively. No, you have to set it up and you have to gradually build to a climax, and then wherever the song goes after that, you do it. But you have to do that musically. So I assign my stacks so that I can set the songs up like that. So if I get to a part that needs strings, I have strings on the end, but then the part goes soft again, I have a pad on one. So we'll get into how I use those stacks. I just wanted to introduce you guys to what I utilize on Sunday. So we have the Yamaha Motif ES8. We have the Nord Electro 5D. I also use a Kai MPC Live. Now, I am a MPC head. I love MPCs. I feel like they're probably the end-all be-all in drum machines. I'll just say it. Sometimes songs require a little bit more than just piano and organ and strings or pad or brass. Sometimes I'm playing those as the dominant instrument, but then I have to do orchestra hits on a part, or I have to do like a lead sound on a part, or I have to do some sort of sound effect. So then I'll bring another keyboard. Sometimes I bring my Moog Sub 37. I use that for leads only at church. Sometimes I use it as a controller for my Roland Integra 7. That is a beast of a rack. Now the Roland Integra 7 is a module, a MIDI module. Essentially is the brain of a keyboard. It's a keyboard without keys. Well, how would you use a keyboard without keys? Remember that word MIDI? That's how you do it. So you go out of the ES8 into the module, you dial up whatever sounds you need, and you essentially have 2 keyboards. Crazy, ain't it? It's dope. Love technology, but this is church music and tech. So this is how we're gonna do it. But there's a lot to talk about. I already have a lot of information, a lot of subjects to speak on. If there's something that you wanna hear, something that you're interested in, something that you would like for me to talk about or explain, whether it's something that you've seen me do, or it's something that you just have an interest in. I mean, if it's something that I don't have information on, I'm gonna go find somebody that has information on it and I'm gonna get it to you. So just drop it in the comments below. Like I said, I want y'all here for this journey. I need y'all here for this journey. Do me a favor. Give me a like, thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and share this on all your social media so that we can make this thing big, all right? It's not about me, it's about us. Church music and tech. You already know what it is. Peace.
to